What's up, guys? We're literally just like shoveling down some food while we wait for some people to join us. So you get to watch us eat. Okay. What's up, guys? When you turn up, when you're logged in, when you're watching us, pop in the comments hashtag I'm here and then pop your name next to it as well, because we can't see names when we're in this software. All we see is Facebook user if you're on Facebook. Let's get a pop in. Let's get some comments in the box.
Jenna knows
Hey,
the
Jenna.
score.
Jenna knows.
Jenna knows the score.
We are literally shoveling down our food as we wait for people. So you can either continue to watch us eat, or you can put hashtag in your name, hashtag I'm here, my name in the comments, and I'll stop eating and I'll provide some value. I think that's a good deal.
It is.
Scott.
Oh, he's come over to Facebook.
It's because we're not on TikTok right now, are we? We haven't set it up.
No.
Literally just shoveling down some rice. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Stephanie? I'm here. Stephanie, did you guys, it's been wild. It's been a very busy day. That's why we're like eating now. Stephanie, did you vote on my poll this morning? I saw Stephanie and I didn't go into it. But if it was, I'm happy. But it looks like everyone else wants to watch me eat some chicken and rice. So, classic bodybuilding. Good for you, Stephanie. Feeling good about summer. Yes, Scott, there are. So, Scott and I were on a business call a couple of hours ago, and there was about 20 ambulances with their sirens going past. It was very distracting because I couldn't concentrate. I had to go out on the balcony, had to have a look, but we can't find out what happened. We've Googled it, we've looked on Twitter. I don't know what it is. Who else is here, guys? If I have to go into my Facebook on another tab and find you out, I'm not going to be a happy bunny. I can see there are 5 people from the group and 5 people on my personal Facebook. So, put your name in the comments. Until then, I'm now going to eat some kidney beans and some sweet corn.
Or we'll just get started. We'll just get started and go with it.
You can start them.
I don't really want to watch Faye eating for the whole time because she probably will. So we had a comment or a post, and we think instead of answering back to people in the group, we'll just use it and explain it, because a lot of questions we get require a lot of context. That's the hardest thing about health and fitness. You could say, like, the first line of this is, I've been dieting properly for the last month and I haven't lost any weight. There's lots of things you could say, but without lots of context, there's not much. We can't really give the best educated guess to stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But going into it, so basically what it all says is, I've been dieting properly for the last month and I haven't lost any weight. I go on my Peloton for 45 to an hour every day. So Peloton is like a spin bike. I fast until midday, and I eat a protein-rich diet for lunch and dinner. My shape is changing, which is great, but I don't want to tone up at the size. I am 4 stone overweight. So we'll just leave it there, and we'll just answer those lines, and we'll do the bottom half first.
Okay. So if you've been dieting for a month, obviously it depends as always. It depends on the diet that you're doing. Like, some people say I'm eating healthy, that's my diet, but actually say their maintenance is 1700, they're actually doing 2000 calories worth of healthy food. That means that they're eating 300 calories in a surplus, which obviously, as time goes on, is going to add up, right? So
Yeah, we don't live in a lab.
we
do
don't live in a lab. There are distractions, I know. So we have to make sure, first of all, that the diet, wherever this is, because I'm not just doing this, like Hannah, the girl that wrote it, actually has wrote dieting. So it depends on what your diet is and whether you are in a surplus. Because, guys, if your maintenance is 1,700, you could eat 1,500 calories of pizza a day and you'd still lose weight. Okay, so sometimes dieting,
especially over a month.
yeah, like a month, you'd expect to see some sort of change, wouldn't you? So what I would recommend is going into, actually, we won't do what I recommend yet. Let's continue. I eat a protein-rich diet for lunch and dinner. So she doesn't have breakfast, basically. I don't think. I fast until midday. So this girl, Hannah, she's fasting till midday. Then she's having a high protein lunch and dinner. I'm assuming here, it's low carb because that's what a lot of people do. And then she's doing cardio on top. So she also says, I don't want to tone up at this size. You can't tone up at a certain size because fat and muscle don't like replace each other. They're two separate things. Like fat can't turn into muscle and muscle can't turn into fat. It's like impossible. Okay. They're two separate things. So your shape is changing, which is good. Okay. That's a positive. She says that she's 4 stone overweight. So if you're 4 stone overweight, first of all, where are you getting that number from? Not the weight, obviously. Like 4 stone overweight for who? For what? For what graph are you using? Wherever. Because some people will look healthy, fit, in shape, wherever, but will be technically overweight. But typically, if it's something like 4 stone, which is what has been implied here, then you'll probably carry more body fat than you ought to be. So we need to have a think about what we're doing here. If we're doing tons of cardio, you're not going to tone up. That's a fact, okay? Unless you've built a shit ton of muscle underneath already, then you're going to be dropping the body fat. Yes, you'll tone up, but you can't tone up doing cardio. And I'm going to say that one more time for the people in the back. You can't tone up doing cardio, okay? To tone up, it's not a real thing, but what typically people mean is that they can see muscle, but it's not like super, super ripped. It's like you can see like a little bit of muscle, some definition in shape. That's toned, which means you need the muscle underneath. Cardio does not build muscle. I don't care whether you're doing a kettlebell class. You don't build muscle doing cardio, okay? Because the body needs a muscle building signal sent from the brain to the muscles to say, build here, put calories here, put effort in here, recover, replenish. And if you're not giving the body an excuse to lift, to grow muscle, which means lifting weights or resistance training, then you're not going to build the muscle underneath. So even if you're doing loads of cardio, after a month of fasting and having a high protein diet and doing 45 minutes to an hour of Peloton of cardio every single day, I would expect a massive drop in weight. What do you think?
Yeah, so that's the thing that we will find really hard, and like the biggest like things we'd have to look, and the straight question we'd just ask straight away when people say this is, I eat a protein-rich diet. Like, what does that mean? Like, that's the biggest thing. If I said to Scott, what is a protein-rich diet? And then he said that to me, and we didn't know what either was going to answer. I bet it would be different. It's not like a hard and fast rule.
Yeah.
This is what everyone looks for in nutrition. There's a hard and fast rule. How many calories should I have? How much protein should I have? Technically, these types of things are going to change over time because as you lose weight, you require less calories. Lots of different stuff like that. So the biggest thing, what are we saying about protein-rich diet?
Yeah. So what is a protein-rich diet to somebody?
How much protein are you actually having? That's where I was going with it.
Okay, got that in.
Is she having 10 grams? Is she having 15 grams? If she says she's having a high protein-rich diet, I would expect 25, 30 plus grams in a meal if that's her only meals that she's having. If that's the only meals that she's having, it also means she's under eating her protein for a whole day. And there's lots of things we could touch on this. So she says you're intermittent fasting. Is intermittent fasting any better at fat loss than flexible dieting or clean eating or what other ones can we name, like
Keto.
So the answer is
Weight
pretty
Watchers.
much no. Like no one diet is better than the other at losing fat. It just comes down to what is the most consistent for the person. Like that's the most important thing. So if intermittent fasting works for you, that's great. Like everything has a pro and a con. So when she's skipping breakfast,
I will say though, like, why are you doing intermittent fasting? That would be a question, because a lot of people do it to try and lose weight because they've heard that intermittent fasting helps them lose weight. It is not great for weight loss, and it really develops a bad relationship with food. So instead, what you should do, if you're doing it for health, then that's absolutely, that's something else. But if you are trying to lose weight and you're intermittent fasting, then I don't think it's a good idea. What happens is you get starving later on in the day, and then you binge. And even though you might be saying I'm having a high protein diet, you also don't say that I'm not eating shit. So you might be having a high protein diet, but you also might be binging on a pack of popcorn or a pack of crisps every night, or pizza with loads of protein on. It's like, yeah, but it's protein. Yeah, but it's also really high in calories. So you have to have that balance. You have to understand what's the reason that you're doing these things and what are the payoffs. And like Scott says, it's probably not sustainable. Yeah, I used to fast. I stopped.
Yeah, if people do it naturally, then it's fine. But if you're doing it purely to try and lose fat quicker, it doesn't work that way essentially. Because if you're intermittent fasting and you do the largest thing, so where it's like 18 hours you fast, so that's including your sleep, and then you just don't eat anything. 6 hours you're just in a window. You can still eat 2.5. So like Faye said, if your maintenance is 1700 calories, so where if you eat this every day, generally you'd stay the same weight-ish. But within that 6 hours, if you can eat over 1700, which is very, very easy in 6 hours, you can probably do it in one meal.
Yeah.
You won't lose any fat, and literally starving yourself for 18 hours can have health benefits. But again, if you're doing it for the health benefits, then it's working. But if you're doing it for pure fat loss, then it's not working, because, like Faye says, the risk of you overeating and binging later on in the day because you've waited 18 hours to eat, and then you have that thirst, you're like, I could fit a chocolate bar in my daily allowance, which you can. But then once you taste the chocolate, because you've had nothing to eat for 18 hours, it then turns into 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chocolate bars. And you think, I'll leave dinner and then I'll just carry on eating chocolate.
That sounds like a dream.
It does.
Scott, you can hear the ambulances. Look, it's bloody ridiculous, guys. I don't know what's happening. Steph could absolutely smash 2,500 calories in 6 hours. Easy.
That's it. So if you're not aware of your calories, intermittent fasting probably isn't going to help.
And Janet, I never know how to pronounce, with Ramadan, when it's time to open the fast, they want to eat everything. So they understand totally what I mean. So obviously, if you're fasting for Ramadan, that's for religious reasons, for health, it's absolutely, for anything, for spirituality, for, whatever, it's absolutely fine. If you're doing it to lose weight, I would not recommend. But thankfully, I've noticed weight loss with clothes. Well, that's a pro. So what is a protein-rich diet? How many calories are you eating? How do you know you're in a deficit? You haven't lost any weight, which I would very much expect. Just by adding in that exercise, I would expect weight loss in the week.
Yeah, if you're doing an hour or 45 minutes every day, it comes back to she could be losing weight, but her methods of tracking is just off. She's new to fitness, like a lot of people. The way you measure yourself, like one of the most important things is you want to see progress and you want to see results. But if your measuring standards are crap, like weighing once a week, you're literally you're giving yourself a 50-50 chance to whether you think you've had a good week or not. That's a whole nother life with weekly averages compared to like one single day, like either once a month, once a week, bi-weekly.
And also you've got like a bias. So if you aren't normally, if you're seeing the scale go up, even if you are looking different, you'll be like, oh, I'm really fat. I look really fat. And if you see the scale go down, even if your body fat is going up, because yes, that can happen. You might lose weight, but be fatter. Like you might be like, oh, I'm feeling super skinny today, even though you're actually losing muscle. So you would look less toned. But yeah, you need to check the calories that you're eating, the quality of the food. Like you could be eating 30 grams of protein a day, and you could be like, yeah, this is high in protein. It's not. So you just need to check that. And then your calories, of course. My shape is changing.
We're at this bit now. I'm also very motivated by the scales, and I've never experienced this before. I've dieted all my life.
So I'm very motivated by the scales, and I've never experienced this before. I'm 37 and have dieted all my life. So I don't know if it's finally just fricked my metabolism.
Freckled my metabolism.
Fricked my metabolism. So 37, that is a fine age to start the joys of the rest of your female life. Like, hey, Rosie, this does happen when we get older. It's more difficult to lose weight. And it's not because your metabolism does slow down slightly, yes, but it's mostly because we've got more stress. We haven't got as much time to exercise. We've yo-yo dieted for decades. So therefore, you can get fatter more quickly. It's just put it simply.
Trust in yourself.
Yeah, you lose trust in yourself because like, oh, well, I tried a million times before and I've let myself down every single time. So why would this time be any different? So there's that. So we need to stick to the basics, essentially. Sleep, stress management, water, high protein diet, walking. Cardio is not the best thing for fat loss long term. It's just not. So just by doing that, you could actually be putting yourself under more physical stress, which means that your body's less likely to lose body fat. I'm putting like a real blanket over this, but essentially that's what happens. The higher the stress, the less likely your body is to release fat. Higher the stress, the worse you sleep. That throws off the two hormones, ghrelin and leptin. They tell you whether you're hungry or whether you're full, whether you're satiated. So if they're off, you're always feeling hungry, never feeling full. You're tired, you're stressed, you haven't meal prepped because you're too stressed. You're going for shit. Like that's a constant cycle, right? So we need to, as we get older, have even more discipline when it comes to time, which as we get older seems to be the thing that we lose most, isn't it?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing when it comes to is like cortisol, and like when we run the metabolism challenge, people slowly started to realize how important cortisol is. And once people start to reach chronic stress, where they're just obviously like overly stressed all the time because no one winds down, because they're just like hustle culture. The biggest thing is they never like try to de-stress. They never have like self-care, especially parents always putting their kids first.
Mum guilt.
And it's just learning just to being able to lower the stress. So what do we call it? A symptom or like a result or a side effect of chronic stress is accumulation of body fat in the stomach area. So you'll see people where they'll have skinnier legs or skinnier arms, but they'll accumulate fat more towards the stomach area. Again, this will be a little bit towards genetics, but then you just start, when you are overeating, that's where it's going, because you're literally chronically stressed, and the body just has like a safety mechanism.
Yeah, around all the organs. Jamie says, so Jamie's one of our clients, she says, baby's not sleeping through does this to me. So obviously, if you've got babies or kids that don't sleep or a partner that snores, like this is going to be a real
Put them in
issue.
another room.
Yeah, put them in another room.
Put them both in a room together, and you get yourself a room.
I think it's a good idea. That's my body shape / Jenna. I think she's talking about the belly fat with the skinnier arms and legs.
Skinnier limbs.
Yeah, but Jenna, you've had a very stressful, first of all, job, few years. Like, you know, so you can absolutely see why that kind of thing would happen. And Scott stopped having caffeine until 90 minutes after he wakes up. Dreamboat, didn't he?
Amazing.
So the scale, should he be motivated by the scale? And he has milk in his coffee can.
Do you account for those calories, Scott? That's probably like 50 calories extra a day.
Chicken party. I've never heard that before.
Chickens have strong legs.
Chickens, do they?
Yeah.
No, they don't. That's why they call
Well,
men
they're
chicken legs.
They're carrying themselves all day, aren't they? Chickens must have strong legs. Just because they're skinny doesn't mean they're not strong. Jenna can deadlift like 40 kilos.
Jenna's good, yeah.
Jenna's strong.
Should you be motivated by the scales? Again, there's this thing of when you're losing weight on the scales, like, yeah, I'm doing it right. But let's say this is complicated, guys. Like just prepare for this fuck up that I'm about to make. Cam, you have to listen now and interrupt if I'm getting this wrong, because it's maths. So let's say you are 100 kilograms, okay? Nice, easy, round number.
Ooh.
You're 100 kilograms. If you are 50% body fat, that would mean you are 50% body fat and 50% other stuff, right? Bones, water, muscle, organs, you know, all that kind of stuff. But 50 kilograms of you is fat. So 50% body fat. If you're 100 kilograms, but 20% of you is body fat, that means only 20 kilograms of you is fat. So the other 80 kilograms are going to be your bones, your muscle, your organs, your water, your, you know, whatever, all of the extra stuff. So you'd be the same weight, but you would look a million times better if you were 20% body fat and 20 kilograms of body fat versus 50%/50 kilograms. Does that make sense, guys? Please drop in the comments if that makes sense. I think there's a riot going on outside.
I really want to go have a look. I think they're around the corner.
Pippin Tom. He's a curtain twitcher.
That's your family.
I hope my mother didn't hear that comment. Thank you, Jamie. I'm glad it makes sense. So the answer is, pack it in, Scott. Goodness me.
I think there's like a national football game or a concert in the stadium.
Okay, we live by a stadium now. So, okay, I'm glad. Jana's like, my brain is fried. So you want to be a lower body fat percentage, even if you're same weight on the scale, essentially, is what I'm saying. So, lots of people are motivated by the scale because they think they're doing it right. But even if you know, with the same weight, you might actually be looking worse. So you need to make sure you're looking.
I've got a new post coming out. I haven't made it yet. You know, face famous for going, I've got a post on that.
I've got reel on that.
I'm going to make a real world video about how Keto Karen can lose 7 pounds in 2 weeks and she's not even in a deficit.
Fucking Keto Karen.
And I'll prove it. I'll walk through exactly everything she does and how she can lose 7 pounds in like 14 days with never being in a calorie deficit.
That's impossible, Cam, because you can't lose weight if you're not in a calorie deficit. Lower thermogenesis, blah, blah, blah. You don't know fuck all.
You can lose weight.
Cut off your arm. That's
yeah.
a quick way to lose weight. Not in a calorie deficit, though, are you? These comments, guys.
It's just, yeah. All I'll say on that is, what do you want, weight loss or fat loss? They're two very different things, but Karen can do weight loss. Give £10 and get £3 change.
£7 gone. Okay, so
where's Scott on? Is Scott trying to do quick maths?
Yeah, he is like 12. Motivated by scale, metabolism.
Don't worry, I can't do math and I'm sat down.
No, that's true. Metabolism. We have done a whole challenge on metabolism. We are toying with the idea of running it again. We hadn't run it for 2 years. We amped it up. We revamped it. We tweaked. We made it 1 million times better than it was. We don't know whether we're going to run it again. Basically, is the answer, but we can tell you metabolism does change over time. But the best thing you can do to refire your metabolism or speed it up is to build muscle mass. Get off the Peloton, go and lift some weights is basically the answer. We're looking at Cam. I learned to college that men lose fat quicker because of the way their fat cells are, which is just annoying. I'm not sure if it's to do with fat cells. Is it?
I don't know if it's like that could be true. Yeah, like I've never heard that before.
No.
But men will lose weight quicker, 100%. Because
most men.
Janet, I've got a reel on that. I've got a reel. If you want to watch, if you head over to my page and forget about Faye's page,
Janet's my biggest fan. Leave me
yeah, just come onto my page. If I say I weigh 200 kilos and Faye 200 pounds, and Faye weighs 100 pounds, and we both lose like 1% of our body weight. Like, don't test my mass now, like Scott. But I would lose like 2 pounds, and Faye would lose like a pound, as a very rough example. Or I would lose 4 pounds, and she'd lose 2 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And that's purely because what you're losing, if you both lose 1%, it'll look different. So a man has more muscle mass, and a man has more testosterone. So through that, he probably will lose more weight than his counterpart, like partner.
Mm-hmm.
But you're still going as well as them.
Yeah.
So you have to make your weight loss relevant. Like, what percent have you lost of your body weight to his body weight?
Yeah. Which is why, guys, like if me and Cam did the same workouts, he would get a better result. Which is why I made that reel. I got reel on this the other day about about not being able to eat the same as Cam because I'm guilty of doing that. Scott says, what about lifting the Peloton to increase muscle mass? Hashtag get off the Peloton, lift the Peloton.
I think I'd call that like the power of Milo. We call this is the power of Milo.
Who's Milo?
He's the Greek guy that lifted a cow every day, and that's how progressive overload was invented.
I think is that true?
Scott painting that for me. We're going to call it Milo does Peloton.
You two are really good. Lol. Lol. I have a question. Do you always have to do strength training before steps? Now there's a question. Who asked that? Can you please? I feel like it might be Rosie, but I'm not 100%. Who says about training before steps? What do you think, Cam? Steps being, let's say this is like just hitting your steps, not running, not exercise steps. It's like literally like
casual steps.
Yeah.
I would do whatever suits your life because it's better to get it. It's better done than it is. I wish I did it or procrastination. So you'd always do strength before cardio.
Yeah.
But just your general steps, just whatever fits into your day. Like steps are not damaging or fatiguing enough to detrimentally impact your weights.
Unless you're doing a hike or something like that.
Unless you're hiking, but then obviously that's different.
And also, imagine if I said yes, but you couldn't do your strength training until 5 o'clock. Like, don't get any steps until 5, till you've done your strength training.
Do 10,000 steps, but not until after 5.
Yeah.
And after you've had tea.
Dinner.
And you've done the chores. Yeah.
So, no, steps whenever.
You don't live in a lab, Jenna.
Don't live in a lab.
Don't live in a lab.
I'm getting that on a t-shirt. We don't live in a freaking lab. Lol. Anyway, should we carry on with this question? Metabolism. Lift some weights. It's very, very basic.
Unfortunately, I can't use any handheld weights at the moment as I'm recovering from a broken wrist 12 weeks ago. I'm so close to chucking it all in and eating my body weight in chocolate.
So to me, this tells me that Hannah has been cutting out chocolate. She's been cutting out her favorite foods. That's what that tells me. Hi guys, thanks guys. Hey Keely, welcome. That's Scott living in a lab. So if you are cutting out chocolate to lose weight, here's my advice. Stop it. Stop cutting out chocolate to lose weight. Stop cutting out the foods you love to lose weight because you're going to binge it all back, okay? So what you're going to do is have your calorie intake that you know that you need for a deficit. Then you're going to put in your protein. Then you're going to put in your vegetables. Then you're going to put in chocolate. Then you're going to put in the rest of your carbs in that order, Okay. But don't give up. Don't give up, because you can't like undo everything you've done so far. So you just need to start again. Okay. Start moving forward.
Yeah, I would reassess
Yeah.
and go through how do I know I haven't lost any weight? Or am I toning up because you're feeling more bulky? Like that just wouldn't happen. Like weigh yourself every day. So you've got a weekly average. And then again, don't go by 1 week, go by 2, 3, 4 weekly averages in a row. So your graph is trending down. Like a weight loss chart, even if you're perfect, will still look like it's spiking up and down, but it will slowly trend down.
Yeah.
Like just because you're suddenly perfect doesn't mean your weight loss goes linearly down.
No.
We just need to understand that, especially when we're using the scales. So we need to make sure we're tracking our progress. So you got measurements like every 2 weeks. You could do pictures every 4 weeks.
I like pictures. I like pictures more regularly. I like pictures more often than measurements personally. But me and Kat, that's why I like it when we're both doing these. Bye, Scott. Gotta get back to the lab with a latte. Yeah, so I like pictures every 2 weeks, and I like measurements every 4 weeks. But Cam is the other way around. So there's no right and there's no wrong way. There's no hard and fast rule to do this. Horses for courses, some may say, but do what suits you. Okay. I had a coach, actually, a few of my coaches, any of my like photo shoot coaches, they have wanted pictures of me every single week. And yes, it's important. And you do get better results that way, typically, depending on where you're at in your journey. But for me, it is a bit of a ball ache to get my camera, set it up, or get Cam there, set it up, make sure I'm in the right position, take the picture, good lighting, crop it, send it across, have all those pictures of myself half naked on my phone, So it varies depending on what you are able to do.
See, there's, like Faye said, there's different pros and cons. Like every coach will have different various methods. Like Faye said, she does photos every 2 weeks. And like some of these other coaches that were more prep coaches, and I'd say they're probably more serious because Faye was training for a shoot. But in my opinion, most general public, I don't think need pictures that much, because I think it's more disheartening when they don't see change, because at this time they don't understand to change your physical appearance takes time.
Yeah.
But I think the pro of that is you can't really cheat it, because we would know if you just binged out and even lied about the scale, because we'd never know. But you can't really lie about your pictures. If you're bloated and you're suddenly like a little bit, you got like more bloat around your stomach or anything like that.
You mean for weekly?
Yeah, if you're having weekly photos, it's very, what do we call it?
It's difficult to manipulate.
Yeah.
And also you don't feel like, I can leave it, or I'm going to send a picture to Cam for another 3 weeks. Another 2 weeks off my diet's going to be fine. I'll just hammer it that last week. Whereas if you're sending me a picture every week, every 2 weeks, you're like, oh, fuck, Faye's going to see me on Friday.
Yeah, and there's lots of ways to cheat the system.
Yeah, that's 100%.
We have both done this a lot. So we know how to do it, and we know what
Speak for yourself, Campbell.
We know that's real. Like some weeks just aren't going to go as well, and it's very easy. Even if you're paying, even if you've got a big deadline, people will just be like, "Oh no, I weigh this much, and I did all my workouts, and I ate chicken and broccoli every day." And obviously, it's very questionable, but that's what you got to think. Like when you do things like this, it's what I like to call is why. I would say like Slimming World and programs where you're like paying just £7. There's not much skin in the game, as I'd say.
Yeah.
You're not heavily invested. And this is where people will fall short. They start to miss weeks.
Yeah.
And then that week can turn into a month or 2 weeks, or even a 2 week block off. Oh, I'm back on it for 2 or 3 weeks. Oh, I'm back off for 2 weeks or 1 week.
But also
they'll still get results, but it's not to what they want in their own head.
Talking about like £7 a week or wherever Slim World is. If anyone's on here and has done or does do Slim World or Weight Watchers, let us know how much it is in the comments.
I think it's £7 a week.
So what's that? 7, 14, 20, 28. Let's call it 30 quid a month, right? And some people will be like, oh, £7. It's only £7. It's only 30 quid a week, 30 quid a month, sorry. I can afford that. But you can also afford not to bother fucking giving a shit about it either. It's like, it's 30 quid. What's that? There's nothing. If like we know coaches that charge £500 plus a month. If you were paying £500 a month, you're like, bloody hell, I am sticking to this. I'm not fucking around with this. 500 quid a month, and you're in a year contract with them. There is a ton of money to just be throwing at a wall, isn't it, and just pissing away. So, you know, like £7. But then if you look at the other way, £7 for someone to weigh you, that's expensive. Go buy scales, do it yourself. It's free. Like, you're okay, you pay for the scales initially, but that's 1 month of Weight Watchers / SlimWorld, wherever. So when you're looking at things like that, you really need to look at like perspective of what is that costing you, or what are you willing to invest and back yourself.
And we're not saying you have to pay £500 to get good results, because we definitely don't charge that.
But we know people that do.
Yeah, that's like the top end for like competing people. But
well, I don't know. I know a lot of coaches that are lifestyle coaches charge $500 to $700 a month.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. What was I going to say? Everything, there's no like right and wrong. We're not saying the more you pay, the better results you get. But there's definitely a correlation to people that, like I said, have more skin in the game.
Yeah.
But there's also people that could pay £7 a week and they could get amazing results.
Yes.
But the percentage of those people is so small.
Mm-hmm.
It's unlikely for the most people. So putting a little bit more skin in the game and paying a little bit more money and being scared to push yourself, like, oh my God, if I don't actually do this, I'm wasting my money.
Yeah.
So you haven't got that. Oh, it's only £7. It's like it's literally like a coffee in a McDonald's.
Yeah.
I can just chuck that out the window.
Yeah. I mean, like I've done like free courses and be like, it's free. Like if I don't get it done, and I normally don't end up doing it. But when I've done, like I did my CIM, that is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds. When I've done my degree, thousands of pounds. Like when I've paid all of this money, I'm like, fucking hell, I'm getting this done. When I've had coaches, like business coaches that I meet with on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, I know that I am paying a shit ton of money for these people. So I have to get that work done. Otherwise, I'm wasting my money. Scott's back.
Where's he been?
He left and I was back.
You better not be having a latte this late in the evening, Scott. That will nullify your waiting 90 minutes. He's waited 90 minutes and now he's going to have it 90 minutes before bed.
Yeah. That's how it works, isn't it? So yes.
So that was it.
Is that all of the message?
That was all of
but the bad rests as well. Yeah, so you can definitely do can't do weights at the handheld weights. So you can do things like machines. Like if you got a gym, you can go to like leg press. You could do hamstring curl. You could do quads. You could do all low body stuff. You could squat. You could squat. You could lunge. There's so much you could do. And then in some like places, some gyms, you have machines like some of the gyms we go to, they've got like lat raise machines. So the pad goes like here. So you don't actually need to use your wrist at all. So, you know, there's lots of things that can be done. But even if you just focused on your squat, not deadlift, I don't know why I said that. I meant lunge. Squat, lunge, leg press, squat, lunge, leg press, and all those kinds of things. Rows to an extent, if you can wear a strap or something. Like there are things that can be done. So definitely just crack on with what you can do instead. And this is a message for you all. Look at what you can do instead of what you can't do. Okay? So I can't go to the gym for 3 hours a day, Faye. Fucking no can I. So I don't. I look at when I can fit the gym in and I go then. And I go in with intent. I go in, I turn off my social media. I'm like, right, this is me and my fucking gym time. I've penciled this in. I've made the effort to come. I am bloody going. What are you going to say?
What time's your room?
I was on a roll then. 1:30.
Okay. Yeah, I was just going to say, even 30, 40 minutes in a gym with like the right amount of plan can get you like really good progress.
Mm-hmm.
And like we said in our metabolism challenge, it's literally like even 2 times 20 minutes a week of weight training to start with is literally a great start.
Yeah, and even not weight training, like body weight training would be good as well.
Yeah.
Lots to be done. So don't chuck it in, Hannah. Don't binge on the chocolate. Reassess. And instead of undoing anything that you have done, because even though you might not have been losing weight, if you hadn't been doing the exercise and being on a high protein diet, you could have been gaining weight. Okay. So you've been mitigating and doing damage control. That's what we call it. So instead of undoing all the damage control that you've done, start by going, okay, what do I need to do now? How can I move forward? And because I know you're in the Facebook group, I recommend going to our training, which is on the top of the page, Unleash Your Inner Badass. That is the place to start for everybody in this group.
That's it.
That's it, guys. Scott says always a decaf after 1 o'clock. That's why we love him. He knows his shit, doesn't he? He does. So, guys, I was going to say we are letting people into the group, so please bear with us. But you wouldn't see this, so it doesn't matter. That's all.
That's it. So we're going to do like 5 minutes.
Q&A.
Q&A. If
So-
you've got any questions, chuck them in now. Like sort of like Hannah, she had a big question and a big post. So we just gone through that, broken it down rather than just giving, you know, like some facts or some figures. That's quite hard. We always want to give our actual opinion on things because it's a lot easier.
Bloody Amy.
Bloody Amy was quick, wasn't she? I
Oh.
said question and she's already written it out.
Scott, Cam will answer that for you because he's got a really good answer. And Janet, we will help you out with that one as well. Amy. Bloody Amy. She's back. She did a bit of disappearing act for a little while, but she's back. She's back on it. How do we work out how many calories? I'm not sure if mine is right or I'm just greedy and always hungry. So you work nights, I believe. So chances are you are going to be hungry because your hunger hormone that we spoke about earlier is off. Okay, so that's kind of like you need to figure out, are you hungry or are you bored? Or are you sad? Or are you, finding something to do instead of, people smoke, right? So instead of smoking, are you just picking up food or, wherever, baked bin or wherever? So figure that out. The next thing to do would be to track your calories normally, eat normal, and just track everything. Even if you eat chocolate, even if you eat pizza, just track it. Track your weight every single morning and see how many calories you're eating roughly a day by the end of that week. And is your body weight going down? If it's going down, you're in a deficit. If you're maintaining, then you're at maintenance. If you're gaining, then you're in surplus. And then adjust your calories accordingly. If you're losing weight and say you're losing 2 to 4 pounds a week, then I would definitely bump up the calories so you're not as hungry. Think about having more protein, extra fiber, and reducing processed foods as much as possible because they will make you hungry.
One thing you can do just to make it even more complicated is think about your calories across a week.
Mhm.
So I'm really bad at maths. So we're just going to say if you ate 1,000 calories a day, don't ever eat 1,000 calories
Just
a
do
day.
2,000 then.
You've eaten 2,000 calories a day. So your weekly total is 14,000.
Yeah.
So what's hard with night shift is like when it passes like midnight and you're like, oh, I've already eaten half my calories because it's like my calories have reset because it's MyFitnessPal and it obviously goes to that sort of clock. But you can sort of just add it together and work it out.
Yeah.
So if you are eating through into the night, it's fine.
Mhm.
Make sure it's accounted for on that new day. So when you come back through it, you look across your 7 days. If you're still under 14,000, and if that's the right amount for you, you'll lose fat over time. And that's what we'll do with some of our night shift workers because it can get really confusing when you can and can't eat.
Mm-hmm.
But calories don't reset at midnight. Your body doesn't know like any of that. It's just like you're working through the day. You can eat when you need to, and your routine is different.
100%. Hey, Jocelyn. Are supplements worth it? CLAs, BCAAs, etc.? No.
Those two, no.
If you were a meat eater. If you're not a meat eater, you might want BCAAs. But typically,
Maybe.
if you're a meat eater, you will hit your BCAAs anyway. The branched chain amino acids, which come from protein.
And CLA, I can't even remember what that stands for, but I know it's like a fat loss supplement. And yeah, it's just not worth it. If you're not in a calorie deficit and sleeping well and moving well, like the basics, like supplements don't matter. So essentially, supplements will always supplement an already good base of habits.
Mm-hmm. But they won't undo it if it's bad.
Yeah, they don't undo bad habits. That's the biggest thing.
We've had like hundreds of clients between us, like total together. How many have you given supplement advice to, as in like go and take BCAAs or go and take XYZ?
The only thing I've ever recommended is protein powder.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need no more than 1 shake a day. But again, it helps supplement an already good diet. Creatine, if they lift a lot, creatine. Caffeine, if they're not a caffeine drinker and they want to add it in to their if they want to.
Yeah.
Again, if they're a gym goer, you don't really need caffeine any other time. Well, you could
well, I've recommended it
for medical purposes.
Menopause, yeah.
What else was I going to say? Magnesium biglycinate. If some of the female clients have really heavy PMS symptoms, magnesium is probably one of the best things you could.
But magnesium is like, it's a mineral, isn't it? It's not like a supplement. Like
it'd be classed as supplement.
Yeah, but it's not like a BCAA or something like that. It's not a fitness supplement, as in like it's not sold in fitness magazines.
It probably is now.
Yeah, now it is probably, yeah. So no, don't waste your money. Scott says he's on magnesium glycinate.
Yeah, that's the good one, Scott.
We've got a question from Janet.
What is Scott's question?
Hang on, let me just do this one because it was on top. Any advice on discipline with food, like how not to eat it more than the stomach needs? Because if the table is full of food, then you overeat. Things like eat more slowly, put your knife and fork down between mouthfuls, chew your food. Well, maybe not for you right now, but normally chew your food like 20 to 30 times per mouthful. Eat lots of protein. Eat your protein first, and then your vegetables, and then your carb source. That's the way to do it. And fit your favorite foods into your diet. So then you're like, okay, I know later I'm gonna have my chocolate bar, so I can chill out right now. I don't need to eat all of this rice, for example.
Yeah, and the biggest thing for Janet is because she's obviously coming off of Ramadan, so she's been
sorry.
She's been fasting for, what is it, 18, 20 hours or 18 hours?
In the sunset.
She's been fasting for a long period of time. So she comes in like already ravenous. So that makes it already a little bit harder because your body's like, I just want energy. Eat as much as you can. But the biggest thing is it can take up to like 10 to even 20 minutes for your gut to send the signal to your brain that you're full. Within that 10 to 20 minutes, you can eat a whole pot of Ben & Jerry's. You can have cinnamon, you can have croissant, you can have pizza number 2, pizza number 3. We're all very good at this.
Alcohol.
So that's why people overeat. You essentially eat too fast and your body doesn't have enough time to say. So the biggest thing without, spending money or researching anything is just say time your first meal and make it last as long as you can. If it takes you 10-15 minutes to eat a meal, that's going to be better rather than you've starved yourself for the whole day and then you scoff it all down. Then you're already ready for your snack, but you're actually already full.
Put it this way, we started this live 48 minutes ago, scoffing down our dinner. And I've still got half a plate next to me because we prioritized your live instead of our nutrition. And now I'm full and I don't eat the rest, which will lead me into Keely's question about not eating when you're hungry, because now I'm not hungry, but I know I have to eat this chicken. But first, Scott's, what's your view on napping?
So I think the quick and hard rules for napping are don't nap after like 2 or 3. Your brain builds up something called like adrenaline or adenosine, and that builds up over the day. So you want to fill your tank up of adenosine because then that starts to release melatonin, and that puts you in a deeper sleep. When people start to nap in the day too often, they start to lower the amount of adenosine in their brain. So then the body's like, I'm not as tired as I normally am. So that's like the counterpart to it. Don't nap more than like 20 minutes because
that's your light sleep and you don't want to go into like deep or REM.
You don't want to go into REM or deep sleep.
So you can do a 90-minute sleep nap.
Yeah, I either do 20 minutes or 90 minutes, but probably by most people's time, it's going to be 20 minutes or under.
Yeah, but before 3 o'clock.
And that's the main thing. You can, for a quickest way to nap apparently, is if you put your feet up above your head level and you just lie on the floor of a pillow. That's what the Navy SEALs say they do to nap in the middle of combat.
As well as a walk order.
But they're like the pretty things. Just don't nap after 2. Keep it to 20 minutes. And if you're relying on napping, make sure your main sleep's a lot better.
Perfect. How long do you suggest being on a calorie deficit? It depends, but whatever your amount is, make sure you're on a reverse diet or maintenance phase for just as long or longer. For example, if I'm dieting for 12 weeks, then I'll make sure that I am on a maintenance or a refeed or not a refeed, maintenance or surplus for 12 weeks plus. Now that is aggressive dieting. Like if I'm aggressively dieting for 12 weeks, but either way, if you're only in like 100 calorie deficit, you probably can fucking go on for a year or something like that. But you do need to come out of it as well for just as long.
Definitely don't want to diet forever.
No. How much protein's in a horse?
Who said that?
Scott.
Scott, are you French?
He's making a joke. Horses for courses. How do you eat your calories when you don't feel hungry, even when I eat breakfast or lunch? I sometimes don't want dinner either. So this is probably a ghrelin leptin problem where you're not feeling hungry. It could be metabolism slow. Maybe you don't know your hunger cues. Maybe you're filling up on, well, it depends. And also how many calories you're eating. If you're eating 2,000 calories, maybe your body doesn't need 2,000 calories. Maybe it needs 1,500.
Yeah, again, that's like really a contextual answer. Yeah. We would say if you're so full but you're under eating, so say like 1,200 calories, but your goal is like 1,800 calories, it could be for lots of reasons. I would just say simply and quickly start building up like soft texture foods. So you can still get your protein in through like Greek yogurt. And it's a soft texture food, and then there's shakes and there's smoothies. Start to build that up as you get used to more calories. Yeah. You can build yourself and train your body into eating more.
Yeah, because sometimes even if you don't feel hungry, I can always fit chocolate bar in. You can, can't you? Like, who else? Who can't you?
You're just eating for, not because you're hungry, because it's just nice.
Thanks, Sammy. If you go to the link in my bio, there is a Facebook group, and we're live in there too. And that's where like we go live more often. So head over to them. We will let you in.
So there's one question there we can answer in like one sentence. Jocelyn, should I eat 5 times smaller amounts? I found that so hard I'm eating. So essentially they say if you eat more smaller meals across the day, it boosts your metabolism. It's not true. If you're eating 3 meals a day and no snacks, for example, make sure in those 3 meals you're hitting your recommended daily target of protein and
fiber,
calories and fiber. If you're eating 5, it's probably easier to hit like a calorie goal and that. Yeah. But if you're happy to have bigger meals and only eat 3 times a day, like it's fine.
Yeah, like sometimes we don't have time for lunch, so we have like a medium breakfast. We do actually have 3 meals technically because we have like a snack before we go to the gym, and then we have a big dinner, which isn't best, but we don't live in a lab, do we? So you can only do what you can do. Okay, I'm getting 75 ounces of water a day. Should I do 100? I don't know what that is in mil.
Do that thing that we've told you, Jenna, where it goes like is it half your body weight in ounces?
I think so.
I can't remember what it is in ounces. I always get confused. But maybe get your body weight in pounds, half it, and then that's how much you should drink in ounces.
We're pretty sure.
Yeah. And then obviously like protein, if you're like 50 ounces away, just increase it by 30 ounces one week, and 30 ounces the next.
Yeah.
Everything can like pyramid up.
Okay. I'm going to rattle through these because I got to go. Cassie, I feel stuck. Put a post in the group and we will answer you. Just create a post, chuck it in. One of us will answer you. Probably can. Because I've got to jump on a call in a sec. No probs, no probs, no probs. Okay, yeah. Fine. Great. Amazing. I'm gonna go.
We're gonna go.
If you're on TikTok, head into the link in my bio. Come join our group. It's for free.
Yeah, if that's what yours is, then build it up. If you're at 75, then build up to 100 ounces. But then remember, as you start to drop big amounts of weight, that would start to come down to like 90.
Bye, TikTok.
Bye.
Okay, and you guys on Facebook, Cassie, chuck that in the group. only because I've got a call in 1 minute. I need my laptop. So chuck it in there, and Cam will answer you while I'm on this call now. So have a great night, guys. Look forward to speaking to you soon. Welcome if you're new in the group. We want to start you, and we'll